You wake up. It is your birthday, but something feels different. You don't want the attention, you don't want the party, you just want silence. Most people throw parties. They post photos. They celebrate like it is a personal holiday, but not you. You let it pass quietly, almost invisibly. Why is that? What does it say about who you are? Let's dig deeper into the psychology behind this quiet choice. Your friends ask what you are doing, you shrug. Nothing special, you say. They look confused. Maybe even concerned, but you are not sad. You are just different. Psychology reveals that people who downplay birthdays often share distinct behavioral patterns. These aren't random quirks. They're windows into deeper personality traits and emotional frameworks. Some avoid attention entirely. They work late. They forget to mention it. They protect themselves from expectations. This reveals vulnerability, independence, or unhealed memories from the past. Others dislike being the center of attention in general. Birthdays force you into the spotlight. Everyone stares, everyone sings. You stand there wondering where to look. This doesn't mean they're shy. Some are perfectly confident. They just don't get energy from having all eyes on them. Psychologists link this to introversion and low social dominance. But there is more beneath the surface. Let's explore what else drives this behavior. First reported in 1997 by Japanese psychologists Shinobu Kitayama and Mayumi Karasawa, the birthday number effect shows that most people unconsciously prefer numbers connected to their birthday. This preference stems from attachment to the self. Most people like themselves. Their birthday becomes part of their identity. The numbers become emotionally significant, even sacred. However, people who don't celebrate their birthdays, they often don't exhibit this effect. Studies show that people who don't like themselves tend not to show birthday number preferences. This doesn't mean they hate themselves. It means they've divorced their identity from external validation. They don't need a day to feel special. They've found meaning elsewhere. Cultural psychology also plays a role. Japanese studies revealed that people may mask self-esteem when explicitly asked, but implicit measures like birthday preferences reveal hidden feelings. So when you skip your birthday, you are not rejecting joy, you are rejecting the performance, the script, the obligation. You want something more real. Let's talk about what psychologists have discovered. People who downplay birthdays often place more importance on everyday connection than milestone events. Rather than saving affection for special occasions, they measure closeness in day-to-day interactions. A quick check-in message, remembering a detail, helping out when needed. From a psychological standpoint, this reflects low temporal landmark dependence. They don't need big calendar dates to feel a sense of meaning or renewal in relationships. Think about it. If you only feel loved once a year, something's missing. These individuals want consistent care, not annual performances. They also have a practical approach to celebrations. In their minds, the hype doesn't match the reality. Why overspend, overplan, or overeat for a date that arrives every year? This ties into a pragmatic worldview, valuing function over form and experiences over ceremony. They can enjoy celebrations, but they don't feel incomplete without them. They're less swept up by social norms. They think critically. They ask, does this actually bring meaning, or is it just tradition? Many feel uncomfortable with overt praise. A birthday party brings a flood of compliments. You look great. You are amazing. Here is why we love you. For some, that is uplifting. For others, it is quietly uncomfortable. They prefer appreciation in subtle forms. A genuine note, acknowledgement tied to shared effort. Psychology connects this to modesty bias, the tendency to deflect praise, to avoid feelings of embarrassment, vulnerability, or perceived arrogance. One person described his quiet birthday. No balloons, no fuss, just another ordinary day. His daughter called him the only person I know who treats their birthday like Wednesday. But he wasn't sad. He was content. He explained that self-reliant individuals derive self-worth from within. Their value doesn't hinge on birthday wishes or elaborate celebrations. This isn't about being antisocial or ungrateful. It is about having an internal compass that doesn't require constant external recalibration. They've learned to validate themselves. That is a powerful trait. It serves them far beyond birthdays. Research shows that emotional maturity is linked to increased well-being and life satisfaction. Emotionally mature individuals are more comfortable with aging and the passage of time. They don't equate happiness with external validation like extravagant parties or piles of gifts. Instead, they've developed deeper understanding. Contentment comes from within. They're also comfortable with solitude. This doesn't mean they're hermits. They have a healthy relationship with being alone. They see solitude as opportunity, not isolation. Psychology recognizes that people who value solitude often use it for introspection and self-discovery. They transform quiet moments into opportunities for personal evolution. In a world that often mistakes being alone for being lonely, these individuals understand the profound difference. One man described spending an extra hour in his garden on his birthday, just him and the tomato plants. His wife worried he was lonely, but he explained, "Solitude and loneliness are two different things." He wasn't escaping people. He was connecting with himself. People who skip birthday celebrations often find genuine happiness in life's simple pleasures. A good conversation, a walk in the park, a perfectly brewed cup of coffee. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi noted that feeling competent, autonomous, and related to others makes people more likely to flow and be happy. Those who prefer low-key birthdays prove that joy isn't tied to grandeur or extravagance. They've learned that sometimes less truly is more. In a world pushing us to want more, do more, and be more, there is strength in knowing when enough is enough. They also live mindfully in the present moment. If you are constantly waiting for that one special day to feel celebrated, you are putting happiness on hold. Research shows that individuals not wrapped up in birthday hype are often more focused on the present. They appreciate each day rather than waiting for one particular day. Every morning you wake up is in its own way, a small birthday, a fresh start. These people understand this deeply. They value authenticity over performance. They prefer genuine interactions over performative celebrations. One retired insurance worker described watching countless office birthday parties, where people plastered on smiles and went through the motions. Everyone singing while someone stood there awkwardly. It always felt contrived. Those who skip the fanfare aren't party poopers. They're saying, "I'd rather have coffee with two close friends than awkward small talk." Psychology tells us that such individuals have deep understanding of themselves and others. They appreciate authenticity because it aligns with their true self. As psychologist Carl Rogers said, "The curious paradox is that when I accept myself just as I am, then I can change." These people have learned to be genuine and true to their own desires. They'd rather have one meaningful conversation than 50 superficial happy birthdays. They also value privacy and selective sharing. If you've ever met someone whose birthday you only learned months later, you've met someone who guards their information. For them, a birthday is a piece of their identity. They choose who gets access to that detail, just like other personal facts. This aligns with high privacy orientation, where people consciously control what others know about them. It is not secrecy, it is boundary setting. Some carry complex emotions about aging. Not everyone avoids birthdays because they dislike attention. For some, birthdays stir uncomfortable thoughts about time passing. Even people in their 20s can feel pressure from societal timelines. By 30, I should have done X. In these cases, avoidance is partly about dodging self-evaluation. It is avoiding the annual reminder that another year has gone by. Psychology calls this temporal self-comparison, measuring yourself against your past and future selves. But even this reveals self-awareness. These people know what triggers discomfort. They're protecting their peace. They prefer authentic connection over ceremonial obligation. A birthday party can sometimes feel scripted cake cutting, gift opening, polite laughter at repeated jokes. People who downplay birthdays crave interactions that feel spontaneous and real. They'd rather have coffee with a close friend than host a room of acquaintances. This reflects low tolerance for social formalities and a higher need for authenticity in relationships. Interestingly, they still acknowledge others' milestones just differently. Instead of throwing a surprise party, they might write a heartfelt message or choose a thoughtful gift. Psychology frames this as low public but high private expression. They value emotional sincerity over outward showiness. They resist social pressure to conform. Most birthday traditions are driven by social norms, not personal necessity. Singing happy birthday in a group. Almost everyone does it. People who downplay their birthday are comfortable stepping outside these norms. They aren't necessarily rebellious. They just have a strong internal compass about what feels right. In psychology, this connects to internal locus of control, the belief that your life should be guided by personal choice, not external expectations. They also tend to downplay other personal milestones. If someone minimizes their birthday, they might do the same with job promotions, anniversaries, or achievements. This isn't about lacking pride. It is about not needing public validation to feel accomplished. They may quietly celebrate, but they don't need public display. This mindset reflects self-determined motivation, finding meaning and reward from the activity itself, not the recognition it brings. They might be more emotionally self-sufficient than average. Not needing a crowd to cheer you on every year suggests internal emotional stability. These people often don't rely heavily on external events to boost their mood. They create meaning from daily life without waiting for a big day. This overlaps with low extrinsic emotional dependency, the ability to feel okay without regular doses of external affirmation. They're selective about traditions. Birthday downplayers approach traditions like a buffet. Keep what is meaningful, skip what is not. Maybe they still enjoy a slice of cake but skip the party. Maybe they'll mark the day with quiet dinner but ignore social media. This reflects autonomous decision-making, choosing rituals based on personal resonance rather than obligation. They're not necessarily against fun, they just define it differently. Avoiding a birthday fuss doesn't mean someone is anti-fun or overly serious. Many still enjoy meaningful, joyful moments. They just prefer them to emerge naturally rather than being scheduled around a date. This is a hallmark of intrinsic enjoyment, seeking pleasure in the flow of life rather than constructing it around fixed events. They often value giving more than receiving. For some, downplaying their birthday is partly about discomfort with being on the receiving end. They'd rather be the one hosting, giving gifts, or creating experiences for others. From a psychological perspective, this aligns with other-oriented empathy, deriving satisfaction from the happiness of others, rather than personal celebration. They're skilled at shifting focus onto others. If you've tried throwing a surprise party for someone who hates attention, you've noticed how quickly they redirect. This isn't deflection. It is a genuine preference to keep the spotlight moving, ensuring no one feels left out. This links to social attunement, a heightened awareness of group dynamics and others' comfort levels. There is something deeper happening here. Something about identity, about how we construct meaning, about what we truly value in life. As one psychology article noted, the ones who stopped hoping. Some people don't celebrate because they've been hurt too many times. Let's talk about a kid whose friends forgot their birthday 3 years in a row. Their brain starts building a shield. Psychologists call this learned helplessness. These people train themselves not to care. It is not because they don't care about birthdays. Caring is dangerous to them. You can't be disappointed if you don't expect anything. They're guarding against a wound that never completely healed. When people claim birthdays aren't a big deal, they're actually saying, I learned not to expect anyone. But there is another group, the ones drowning in responsibilities. Their birthday is buried under an avalanche of everything else, but not ignored. Scientists call this time blindness. When your brain is overloaded, special moments get squeezed out by urgent tasks. These people are exhausted, not cold. Then there is the third group, the ones who found inner peace. Birthdays can be pleasant times to celebrate. However, the individual with inner peace doesn't need to be honored. They don't need to be made a fuss of. They already feel complete. Some researchers describe birthdays as temporal landmarks, moments where time feels more visible, more symbolic. We treat them as checkpoints, transitions, even identity mirrors. That emotional surge you feel around your birthday. It is not coincidence. It is a psychological response to time, memory, meaning, and visibility. Researchers have identified this as the fresh start effect, a psychological phenomenon where people feel more motivated to reflect and make meaningful changes around specific milestones. So how you respond to that moment, whether by partying, hiding, taking a solo trip, or getting a tattoo, actually says more than you think. There is the escapist, the one who wants no attention. They let the day pass like any other. Maybe they work late, maybe they forget on purpose. Behind that quiet is often something tender, a discomfort with being celebrated, or a deeper fear of being disappointed. Their protection from expectations reveals their vulnerability. They might binge a favorite series, take a long walk alone, or book a solo trip, not to run, but to breathe. For them, silence isn't emptiness. That tells you they're self-sufficient, sometimes guarded, often deep feeling. They're working through a relationship with visibility itself. Then there is the introspector. They don't crave crowds, confetti, or cliché phase. For them, birthdays are sacred pauses, a quiet space to reflect, realign, and mark internal shift. You'll find them writing letters to their future selves, starting a new journal, curating a playlist that tells their year's story, or walking into a tattoo studio alone. The introspector isn't interested in optics. Their celebration is deeply personal, often private, but incredibly powerful. They mark time not with noise but with meaning. Whether it is inking a mantra, lighting a candle, or planting something new, their actions mirror what psychologists call self-gifting behavior, a ritual of emotional grounding. For them, a birthday isn't a party, it is a portal, a mirror, a moment to become. And there is the reclaimer. They've been through something, a breakup, burnout, massive change. This birthday isn't just a number, it is a power move. They get tattoos, cut hair, move cities, book solo photo shoots. Their celebration isn't about joy, it is about reclaiming self. They're not marking age, they're marking rebirth. The birthday isn't passive, it is a restart button. They say yes to things they once feared. They shut the door on what drained them. They don't care if it looks wild because for the first time, It feels honest. They don't just grow older, they grow louder about who they are. They don't throw a party, they throw a declaration. The relative age effect shows us something fascinating. In sports and academia, people born earlier in selection periods tend to have advantages. They're older, more developed. But what does this have to do with birthdays? It reveals that birthdays aren't just personal markers. They're social constructs that carry weight, expectation, and comparison. People who downplay birthdays may unconsciously reject this framework. They refuse to let a date define their worth or progress. The birthday effect is different. It is a statistical phenomenon where death likelihood appears to increase on or near birthdays. Studies from England, Wales, Switzerland, Ukraine, and the US confirm this. Suggested mechanisms include alcohol consumption, psychological stress relating to the birthday, increased suicide risk, terminally ill patients attempting to hold on, or increased mortality salience. According to terror management theory, birthdays remind individuals of mortality and offer occasions to look back on life. This causes stress which can accelerate death. For some people, birthdays aren't celebrations, they're confrontations with time itself, with mortality, with regret, with unmet expectations. So when someone quietly lets their birthday pass, they might be protecting themselves from this psychological weight. Cultural psychology teaches us that cultures reflect and shape their members' psychological processes. The mind and culture are inseparable and mutually constitutive. Cultural traditions and social practices regulate, express, and transform the human psyche. This results less in psychic unity for humankind than in ethnic divergences in mind. Different cultures have different birthday customs. In some cultures, birthdays are massive celebrations. In others, they're barely acknowledged. Both approaches are psychologically valid. The concept of mutual constitution shows that society and the individual influence each other. The values, morals, and ways of life a society exemplifies impact individual development. However, individuals also shape culture. When you choose to downplay your birthday, you are not just following culture. You are also subtly reshaping social norms around you. Past research has been conducted mostly by middle-class North Americans analyzing culturally different societies. This has resulted in what is characterized as Euro-American centrism. What has been learned is that we should divert from the idea that certain psychological processes are universal. We must recognize humans' remarkable capacity to create cultures. Your choice to celebrate or not celebrate isn't universal. It is deeply personal, culturally informed, psychologically complex. Research shows that in the United States, individuals are more likely to think of themselves as independent, equal, and individualistic. They have characteristics consistent across time and situation. In Japan, individuals are more likely to think of themselves as obligated to society, interdependent, and considerate. The self is adaptable to the situation. Interactions with people and products reinforce cultural behaviors daily. Stories, songs, architecture, and advertisements guide individuals to promote certain values. In Japan, no smoking signs emphasize smoke's impact on others. In the US, signs focus on individual action by simply saying, "No smoking." Institutions determine and enforce rules for society. In Japanese kindergartens, children learn about teamwork, group harmony, and cooperation. They celebrate birthday month celebration. In US kindergartens, children celebrate birthdays one by one, enforcing the cultural value of uniqueness and individualism. So your birthday behavior isn't just personal preference. It is shaped by deep cultural programming about self, community, and celebration. While self-enhancement is a person's motivation to view themselves positively, self-improvement is motivation to have others view themselves positively. Cultures with independent self-views often emphasize self-esteem, confidence in one's own worth and abilities, with self-esteem seen as a main source of happiness in Western cultures. In contrast, collectivistic cultures often emphasize self-improvement as a leading motivating factor. This motivation derives from a desire to not lose face. People who downplay birthdays in individualistic cultures might be rejecting performative self-enhancement. They don't need the public affirmation. In collectivistic cultures, downplaying birthdays might be about not wanting to stand out, about not burdening others with obligation. Same behavior, different cultural psychology, both valid. Understanding these differences is crucial. There is no right way to treat your birthday. Some people love big parties. Others prefer quiet reflection. Both approaches are valid. However, understanding the psychological patterns behind birthday minimalism can improve relationships. If you know your friend is a birthday minimalist, you can show care differently, whether that is a private dinner, a thoughtful message, or simply spending quality time. At the heart of it all, people who don't make a big deal about birthdays are often deeply content individuals. Research indicates that individuals who don't need grand birthday celebrations have often found a level of peace and satisfaction within themselves that doesn't require heaps of attention. They don't need a specific day to feel special or loved because they carry that feeling within themselves every day. They've stopped tying their happiness to external events and learned to find joy in the simple act of being alive. That is not pessimism or indifference. That is contentment. And in a world that constantly tells us we need more to be happy, finding that inner peace is perhaps the greatest strength. Downplaying a birthday isn't about rejecting joy, it is about redefining it. For some, the idea of turning another year older is best marked with laughter in a small circle, not a balloon-filled banquet hall. For others, it is simply another Tuesday, no different from the day before. The psychology behind this choice reveals traits like authenticity, independence, privacy, and modesty. Qualities that can bring richness to life far beyond one day. So the next time someone tells you they don't really do birthdays, don't assume they're joyless or antisocial. Chances are they've just found other ways. They celebrate what matters most every other day of the year. If you are someone who treats your birthday like any other day, don't let anyone make you feel like you are missing out. You are not being a killjoy. You've simply learned to celebrate life differently, more quietly, more consistently. These 7 strengths aren't about rejecting joy or connection. They're about finding them in sustainable, authentic ways that don't depend on a single day. So the next time someone asks how you want to celebrate, and you say, nothing special, know that there is real wisdom in that response. After all, isn't life itself special enough? Think about your own birthday. How do you feel when it approaches? Excited? Anxious? Indifferent? What does that tell you about yourself? Do you crave the spotlight, or does it feel like a burden? Do you measure your worth by how many people remember? Or have you divorced your identity from this calendar date? You've probably already felt it. That odd emotional fog before your birthday, the surge of reflection, the urge to do something just for you. That is not moodiness. That is the psychology of ritual calling your name. And no, it doesn't have to be a party. It can be quiet or wild. Maybe this year, you finally write yourself a letter, book that solo getaway, or choose something small but permanent to carry forward. The way you celebrate your birthday, whether with fireworks or silence, with crowds or solitude, with cake or contemplation, reveals something profound about who you are. It reveals what you value, how you relate to yourself, how you relate to time, how you relate to others, how you define joy, how you define meaning. So here is the real question. When your next birthday comes, what will you choose? And more importantly, why? What does that choice say about the person you are becoming?